So as we've known since the release of Man of Steel back in 2013, the DC Extended Universe is home to a wide variety of powerful characters capable of some pretty amazing feats, something we saw reconfirmed at Comic-Con this year with the release of the cool as f**k AQUAMAN trailer and the still interesting but not as good Shazam trailer. But even in a world full of self-made superheroes, powerful aliens, and even gods, there's still only one hero who can claim that they're the fastest man alive.
So you're fast. That feels like an oversimplification.
Seriously, we've barely seen anything from this newest version of the Flash, and DC's already showing that this guy is crazy fast. I mean, we've seen him draw on a guy's face without him noticing, race a truck miles away as Steppenwolf was transforming the Earth, and even managed to outpace a bloodlusted Superman, the same character who flew from one end of the Earth to the other in under a minute in his first movie. Holy shit! Seriously, with all these different feats under his belt, it makes you wonder, just how fast is the DCEU Flash? Well, let's take a look and find out.
Dostoevsky.
Alright, so like always, we need a base feat to start us off, and we actually get a pretty good one in one of the earliest appearances of the character in the DCEU. During Captain Boomerang's introduction in Suicide Squad, we see the Flash race in, drop a quick one-liner,
No honor among thieves, eh?
then rush in and knock him over. So before we can calculate how fast Barry's moving in this scene, we need to know two things: the distance between himself and Captain Boomerang, and the time it took him to run that distance. We can see here in this shot that Barry's foot is pretty close to fitting inside one of these tiles on the floor, suggesting that the length of these tiles is around the same length as Flash's foot. According to a few different sources, actor Ezra Miller has a shoe size of 13.5. That's equal to a length of 30.2 centimeters, or about 11.88 inches. Assuming his foot is about 3/4 the length of the tile, then that would mean one tile is equal to about 40.3 centimeters, or about 15.86 inches. And considering how we can safely guesstimate that there's about 10 tiles worth of distance between Barry and Captain Boomerang, based on how many tiles we can count during the shot, that would mean that the distance between them is about 13 feet, or about 3.96 meters. And using a stopwatch, we can see that Barry crossed this distance in 0.55 seconds. Doing the math tells us that he's running at a whopping speed of 7.2 meters per second. Huh. That's only about 16 miles an hour, or about 26 kilometers an hour. Wow, way to start your list of feats here, Flash.
You're too slow.
What?
Well, maybe we saw him bust out even faster speeds when he knocked out that one dude in Batman v Superman. Remember when Wonder Woman was looking over that footage Batman sent her, aka Warner Brothers' super lazy attempt to build up their shared universe? During one of the clips she watches, we see security camera footage of Barry picking up some milk, then rushing over and shoving over some guy before rushing back to his starting position, all before the milk had time to start falling. According to the security camera footage, the time it took Barry to make it to the robber and get back to his milk took about 0.5 seconds. And much like with the cameo in Suicide Squad, we can count the tiles on the floor to figure out how far Barry was from the store counter, and in doing so, it looks like there's about 16 tiles between them. Funny enough, going off of this shot, it also looks like one tile equals the length of Barry's foot. Like I said earlier, Ezra Miller has a shoe size of 13.5, or about 30.2 centimeters, meaning there's about 16 feet, or 4.87 meters, between Barry and the robber, meaning Barry had to run a total back and forth distance of about 32 feet, or 9.75 meters. Now that we know the distance he traveled, and the time it took him to run that distance, we can plug both of these into the formula for velocity, which tells us that Barry was running at a speed of about 19.5 meters per second, or about 44 miles an hour, or about 70 kilometers an hour. Not bad, but I'm pretty sure everybody who saw that scene thought he could go way faster, which he does, as proven when he meets Bruce Wayne in 2017's Justice League. During the meeting, Bruce tosses a batarang at Barry, who easily sidesteps the oncoming projectile and plucks it out of the air. Using a stopwatch, we can see that the batarang was flying through the air for about 21 seconds. But here's the thing though, we see that batarang time from Barry's point of view, where he's seeing things moving way slower than they would be in real time. So how much faster is Barry moving compared to the batarang? Well, to find that out, we need to know the actual amount of time the batarang was flying through the air, which we can do by comparing Bruce to the Great Throwdini, known internationally as the world's fastest and most accurate knife thrower. According to Throwdini, he's been able to throw knives at speeds somewhere between 22 and 30 miles an hour, so considering how Bruce is supposed to be like the best at everything, let's just assume Bruce can throw a batarang at 30 miles an hour. Assuming that Bruce is standing 5 feet away from Barry, that gives us a real-world batarang travel time of about 0.11 seconds, which means Barry is moving about 191 times faster than the batarang is flying. And that is seriously impressive, because that means Barry was moving at a speed of about 5,730 miles per hour, or about 9,222 kilometers an hour, or about Mach 7.5. You know what's even more impressive than that though? During the first fight against Steppenwolf, we see Barry help Wonder Woman catch her falling sword, all while we see see everything in Barry's perspective, moving in extreme slow motion. Using the Nightcrawler as a scale, we can see that the diameter of the tunnel that he's running around is about 2 Nightcrawlers long. A model of the Nightcrawler featured at Vivo City late last year was apparently a full-scale model, which sat at 14 meters wide and 3.4 meters tall. That would mean that the tunnel would have a diameter of 28 meters. And using a stopwatch, we can see that Barry managed to make 3 on-screen loops in 4.97 seconds. I know he does another lap in order to actually reach the sword, but considering it actually takes Barry way more time to complete that lap than the other ones, I'm fairly certain there was something off about it we weren't able to see on screen, so I'm not going to use it for this calculation. Either way, plugging everything into the formula for circular velocity tells us that Barry had a total quote-unquote flash time run speed of about 18 meters per second. But like I said, that's from Barry's point of view. So how fast was he going in real time? Well, if we compare the sword's falling speed in the scene to how fast it should be falling in real life, we can see that Barry's point of view is about 151 times faster than real time, meaning that he was actually running at a speed of 2,718 meters per second. That's about 6,080 miles per hour, or 9,785 kilometers an hour, or about Mach 8. Now that's cool and all, but we know he can go much faster since, as mentioned by Bruce when he first meets Barry, the Flash suit is made of the same tiles used by NASA on their space shuttles.
Silica-based quartz sand fabric, abrasion resistant, heat resistant.
Yeah, I do competitive ice dancing.
It's what they use on the space shuttle to prevent it from burning up on re-entry.
Considering how shuttles can travel up to Mach 25, that would mean Barry should be able to reach speeds of about 19,182 miles per hour, or 30,870 kilometers an hour. That's probably where Zack Snyder intended on capping Barry, at least for this movie, but the post-credit scene added by Joss Whedon definitely changed that. In the scene, we see Flash and Superman bantering a little bit before racing each other in order to find out who was really the fastest man alive. Considering how the two seem to be neck and neck before the camera cuts to black, I think it's safe to say that we can scale Barry to the Man of Steel's fastest on-screen speed, since, you know, you'd think they'd be going all out with it being a race and all.
It's not like a competition, you know? Well, it is a competition.
But how fast is that exactly? Well, we have seen the DCEU version of Superman pulling off some pretty impressive feats, like going from Metropolis to Mexico relatively quickly, or going from the surface of the Earth to the edge of the atmosphere, but the fastest we've ever seen him flying is during his first flight in Man of Steel, where we see him go from the Fortress of Solitude on Ellesmere Island in Canada to what looks like Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa. That's a distance of about 6,642 miles, or about 10,689 kilometers. And assuming that camera cut is when Superman actually makes it to Africa, then that would give him a flight time of 9 seconds. Doing the math on that gives Superman a flight speed of about 2,656,735 miles per hour, or about 4,275,600 kilometers an hour, or about Mach 3,462. And look at his face! Barry was keeping up with that easily. Damn! But even all of that is only scratching the surface of the DCEU Flash's potential. Based on that quick glimpse at Barry's Argus File and Suicide Squad, it's possible that he could run at light speed, that's 669,600,000 miles per hour, or 1,077,616,742.4 kilometers an hour, by the way. This is technically supported by the idea that you have to be going that fast to be able to travel through time, something we see a future version of Barry do during Bruce's nightmare sequence in Batman v Superman. But that having been said, we haven't really seen enough from this version of the Flash to safely say he can run at those speeds here in the present. Oh well, maybe we'll see him pull it off whenever the Flash solo movie races into theaters. But anyways guys, that's how fast the Flash is in the DC Extended Universe. If you guys agreed with anything I said in this video, or if you have your own numbers you want to throw out there, then go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I will see you all next time. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, then go ahead and click that like button, and if you're new, maybe consider clicking that subscribe button too. I've also got links to my Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and Patreon in the description. You should probably check those out too. And if you want to see more of my content, then you can click the link to my last video. It's right there in the middle of your screen. Alright, and I will see you all next time.